Arms Challenge Cup. And away we go. So, on the left hand side of your screen, we got Brass coming in with the nade, and the Chakram Maloya coming in with the windiest of slams, and also the Parabola. Not the Parabola, the Parasol. And the Dragon Arm, well, was initially up for that win, for that slam, but quickly gets chipped away by Max Brass, who has that wonderful ability to just bulk up, but Aloy has a bulk up of their own. That perma-charged Dragon Arm gets the flinch as well, and juggles in for a rush, puts Alfie straight into critical, and they are going to immediately charge up. Brass always at his most intimidating when he's in this kind of position, and gets another quick little 1-2 with the explosion of the nade helping, but knowing full well that any hit from Aloy will send them down if they are not careful, and that's exactly what's going to happen. The curved arm of the Windy Slam is going to find its way through and quickly give Aloy the first point. Aloy not messing around, going straight back in with the double win. Obviously, if any of those hit whilst charged up, they will immediately sweep Brass off his feet, because otherwise any kind of other hit would just do nothing to Brass. Rush is going to come out. Whilst Min Min did get the block up, unfortunately the grab does fall on through, and so does the Chakram hit, so Alfie doing significantly better here in the early going, but finally doesn't get caught by the grab, and Aloy has the arm. No, Dragon's up, but unfortunately just a little late on the rush, and Brass falls straight back down. Nothing that they could do about that in the slightest. Another explosion does sweep Min Min off and resets the Dragon Arm, but Alfie doesn't keep the pressure up and allows Aloy a free charge right back up. And obviously, whilst they both have curved arms, Aloy is being significantly more consistent with theirs. The arm just quickly whipping around. Rush is going to come out, but Aloy gets the read on it again, gets another shield up, and just immediately slaps through, although Alfie with a big old hug. And obviously in that perma crit state, Aloy cannot afford to let Alfie build up any more steam from here. 25 seconds on the clock. It's a very big, long grab attempt, but it's going to come out from that one, and Aloy just needs one more hit to find its way through, and the Parasol does indeed do it. Letting the guard down at just the last second, and Aloy will take the initiative in this set, taking the lead of the best of 3 by 1 point to 0. So a good start from Aloy. Alfie was slowly getting back into the matchup. You definitely saw that they were able to do that quite nicely, it must be said, towards the end. And, like, Brass is a nice character to be able to play as. Obviously, you know, a heavyweight character can only really be taken down by charged hits of specific arm elements, such as the fire and the wind as well. But Alfie now going to pick VoD, so we are actually going to see one of our counter picks make an appearance. After the first point, we get the counter picks added into the list, which are VoD and Scrapyard respectively, and Alfie gonna see if they can do the wall tricks with Max Brass. Try and allow Aloy, or not allow Aloy, to get any kind of pushes, especially into the center, because if they get the chance to charge up, especially with a combination like the Parabola and the Kablammer, they will try to wall in Brass into the corner as well. It's a very tricky stage, and they do get the shock with the Parabola, and get a nice free grab as a result. Punches through and catches them again in mid-air. And so far this pick going against Alfie and the runner play. Another shock through, another big time grab. Alfie will get the buff up, and that's another shock, and that's another grab. And that, my friends, is a perfect in the early goings of this tournament, and Aloy putting their foot down and showing you exactly what they could do. They are not going to change from that. And it's double nade. No, it's not. They thought about it, but no. They are going to drop the nades, and it is going to be Chakram and Roaster. But Aloy just dominating that matchup. And so far, it's not going Alfie's way. And another shock. And that is going to be a free rush as well. 380 immediately halves Alfie's health. And whilst they do have a rush so far, they have not been able to land a hit on Aloria in this matchup yet. It has been incredibly one-sided, and again they can't find a way through. They're on the cusp of critical. They do manage to get the rush through. 315, so no perfect for Aloria. The very rare and dangerous double perfect does not happen for Aloria here, but immediately swings in, gets a grab. They just need one more hit. Anything will do. It is the parabola. It is a KO. And that is going to be a very quick 2-0 for Aloria to go right on ahead to round 2. Yeah, not even close between those two. Unfortunately, the second Aloria was in the zone. There was no coming back, especially in the second matchup. Credit to Alfie though. They did everything they possibly could, but it just was not enough. Aloria just so much more consistent, and just sweeps that victory right from underneath them. And in fact, that is the first match to finish of the sets so far. We are still waiting on the others to be done and dusted. Although we do have a result through. Okrim does take out Yoshi Bowser by 2 points to 0. So we already have 2 matches in round 2 geared up and ready to go. That is Riffa versus Okrim and Alistair versus Aloria. The other 2 matches we are waiting on are Junior versus Jonathan and Kosalina versus Daza. Whilst we await for the next matches to be done, a quick reminder to you all that these competitions are run every 2 weeks, and they're not just competing for the heck of it, they are competing for PR points, which does build up towards the Invitational and the top 8 towards the end of their respective seasons. Obviously Riffa won in the previous one, but it was also interesting to see that Alistair, who was very much new to the ARMS competitive scene during the previous season, managed to make an appearance into the top 8, which was really cool to see. And just goes to show you that even if you are new to the scene, even if you haven't really gotten into the game at the same time as everybody else, there is still potential to learn the game, master it, and inch your way up. Maybe you may be the next Riffa, you never know. But so far, Riffa will be gearing up to take on Okrim to see if they can progress into the semi-finals for, well, I think I've lost count of how many times Riffa has made it all the way up, straight through into winners finals. It's just, it always seems to be a bit of a hard one to muster. We are going to take a quick little breather because the other 2 matches are taking a while to gear up. But when we do return, it will be time for round 2. We'll see you all in just a minute. Don't go away, my friends. Ah, my friends, we are finally back with the 60-second installment of the EU Arms Challenge Cup. We are gearing ourselves up for round number 2. Round 1 matches have finally been finished, and it will be Iceman to take on Cossalina. In our next best of 3 of the day, we'll just give you a quick rundown of what has been happening whilst we have been away. So Junior took out President Jonathan by 2 points to 0, and Kozlina took out Dazza by 2 points to 0. So the round 2 lineup goes like this: Riffa versus Okrim, Yam versus Junior, Iceman versus Kozlina, and Alistair versus Aloria. In that order, we'll be focusing on Iceman versus Kozlina. Iceman, like I said, has been winning these cups quite regularly. 12 cups. Riffa is the only one with more than them at this point, with 16. And Yada as well. Yada has 13. So Iceman trying to at least tie for second place in that regard. But having said that, there is something that they don't need to tie, and that, basically, for those of you who do not know, there is an in-game dashboard so that you can have a look at where you currently rank in your respective regions and also in the world as well. And as of time of writing, Iceman currently tops the worldwide leaderboard. Iceman is literally number 1, ahead of Kuro and the likes of Hay and Pine as well. So really awesome to see that kind of representation for us. So massive credit where credit's due for Iceman in that regard. And we are now going to go straight on into things to see if Kozlina can take out Iceman on the left hand side of your screen. It is Min Min versus Twintel as we head into Mausoleum for the first of our best of 3 matches. Tribolt and Ice Dragon versus Tribolt and Toaster. So both wanted to go for those horizontal bolts, and to be fair, does play well against the pair of them. Min Min is quite the agile character, and especially if you want to stop down that Dragon Arm as quickly as possible, doing exactly what Kozlina did, getting that stun and then following up with the Toaster, that little 1-2 combination just takes Iceman out of control. Also, the fact that bringing the Toaster in there as well means that if they do hit with that charged arm, it'll immediately floor Min Min. So that's what the fire element does. And again, rob them of that Dragon Arm the second they get knocked down. But for Min Min, going up against Kozlina, the Tribolt just bounce off the shield for the time being. Obviously, Twintel with the Actress Aura, which allows them to slow things down. And unfortunately, Iceman slows them down instead. And gets a little bit of a grab in as well. Punishes the overuse of that shield. Almost gets Kozlina towards critical. A rush or 2 will definitely change that into their advantage. Make that into critical now for Kozlina. Both with rush with 23 seconds left on the clock. It is Kozlina who has to do all of the work here if they want to try and salvage this point away. On weak on the left hand side, it does ping back up again as Iceman just continues to keep this pressure up. 10 seconds on the clock, another 1-2 hit, and Iceman has quite the sizable lead here, so I don't see any way back for Kozlina here. They do manage to get a stun, but it is too little too late, and Iceman will take the initiative in this first match. Nice little cheeky little shimmy there from Kozlina in the end. Gonna stick with the Toaster and Tribolt combination. Iceman sticks with the Tribolt and Ice Dragon combination as they begin to circle around the platform. Nice little lick of paint from the Dragon. Doesn't get it on the second time of asking though. Crosser does have the shield up and goes for the rush as well, but does manage to catch Iceman in the end, only for 65 though, missed most of it. Iceman tried to be cheeky and go for the punish, which is where the additional 65 damage finally came on through. So as little damage as possible taken there for Iceman, who has enough time again to get the Tribolt up to their perma-charged state. That's that little bit bigger, that a little bit scarier. Able to cover more ground, goes for the rush, but Kozlina not only gets away with it, but also gets the punish that Iceman originally was looking for in their moment earlier. But having said that, Iceman came off the better exchange. Rush will come out again from Kozlina, and it's the Dragon this time around that does catch Kosa into a stun, into a grab, straight down into critical. And Iceman proving why they are the top of the leaderboards at the moment. Tried to go for the grab, but Kozlina says, no, that's my trick. Just about misses the middle ground there. I thought a trampoline was coming up, and the arm gets destroyed as well. A free hit for Iceman. They're just looking for one more hit. With 20 seconds to go, they've got their health lead as well, and Kozlina knows that this match probably is done and dusted here. There's no way back with 10 seconds left on the clock, and they probably know it. Rush is available from Iceman. They don't really need to use it. They've got this win in the bag. Finally gets the KO with 5 seconds left, and that will be Iceman's lead. 1-0. So nothing else to really say there. Iceman just, again, in dominant style, just keeping that health lead. Even when they go, even when they get caught out towards the tail end of those kind of rushes, they still manage to find a way to just convert that straight back into an attack. And Kozlina just didn't have an answer for it, unfortunately. And with that, we are now going to have ourselves a little bit of a switch up. Gone is the twin tail. In comes Lollipop as we head straight back to Mausoleum. And both do have an Ice Dragon in their arsenal now. Obviously, Iceman does like to use it on a regular basis, and now Koz are going to bring one in as well. So, Ice Dragon on either side. Both of these going to have different combos here. Kozlina wants to stick with the Tri-Bolt variant, but goes for the Blast this time, the explosive friend of the Stunning Bolt. And meanwhile, Iceman going to switch up to the Sparky as well, so already disabling one arm from Kozlina. Gets themselves a free little hit, but already a little bit more pressure coming in from Kozlina. And now, suddenly, it's just trying to keep Iceman there, but the patience there to wait for both to come out. The double commit from Kozlina, and then to ping on in with the Sparky. It has the shortest paralysis of the electric arms, but if you are close enough like Min Min is, to where Kozlina was at that point, it's really going to be a nice, quick, easy grab for you to take advantage of. Both with Rush ready to go. Again, Kozlina just waddling around with Lollipop. That wonderful bouncy goodness that Lola is able to bring. But another Sparky hit is going to disrupt the Clown. And that is just now one hit away from Kozlina being taken out yet again by this absolute dangerous combination that Iceman has. Regardless, whatever glove Iceman decides to put alongside the dragon, it just seems to work. They are 1 point away from making it into the semi-finals. Kozlina not going to really switch up anything. The Tri-Blasts were working. They were keeping Iceman at bay and certainly started a lot more aggressive. And obviously Lola can just waddle on around with the shield out. Not many characters are able to do that. And you can just see, even though the walk speed is slower, it's still a valuable asset to utilize. And obviously able to spring straight back in as a result of that extra bounce in Lollipop's step, as it were. And so far, Iceman is just keeping Kozlina at bay, but Kozlina is getting the odd explosion hit here, which is starting to stack up. And whilst they do have a small health lead, it is certainly a good indication that Kozlina is learning and adapting to what Iceman is throwing her way. Another grab coming out on, but just about missing from the Sparky as well. Does manage to get the chain up with the dragon, but unfortunately pops the rush too early. And Iceman gets that perfectly done, and also got a Sparky hit as well, so chains on into that 1-2, and suddenly Kozlina is panicking because Iceman now has control of the situation again. They also have the health lead, which is the last thing Kozlina needed, and the grab takes it away as well. And there comes the rush, and that will be the rush, and that will be a KO. No, it's not, but it pretty much will be. One more hit is all Iceman is looking for, and with 10 seconds left on the clock, it's pretty much academic that Iceman will be going through into the next round, regardless of where this plays out. And that is Iceman's victory there. Couldn't quite get the KO, but Kozlina knew that that was a fight that they'd lost. The second they lost that ground, the second they lost momentum halfway through that matchup, it was only going to go to Iceman. And they will be moving on to the semi-finals. Nothing much that Kozlina could do. They started off so well in that second match, where they were able to sort of like figure out what Iceman was doing, and then in that second point it seemed like they finally had managed to wrestle control, but it just immediately disappeared on them, and before you knew it, Iceman turned it around. Just a couple of hits and that was all that it took to just swing it clean into their favor. And Riffa, meantime, has taken out Okrin by 2 points to nil. Junior takes out Yam by 2 points to 0. Wait, why is Kozolina in... Wait, what's going on here? Apparently it says... I'm pretty sure that it's probably being an error there, because I'm like, Kozolina has apparently pinged up into the semi-final. I'm like, that's not completely correct there. Challenge will update that in just a moment, I'm absolutely sure. But in either case, we are now going to advance on in to the first of our semi-finals, and that will be between Riffa and Junior. And as we gear up for the first of our semi-finals, Riffa and Junior already set and ready to go. Riffa obviously with the most wins in these cups of anyone. And Junior, it's been a while since we've seen them pop in around here. But they are no stranger to winning. I mean, having said that, they have only won the one cup, which was back in the 46th installment. So it's been quite a while since they have managed to bag themselves a win, and now they have to go up against the Revolution themselves, the Riffa, and see if they can send them to the underground bracket without having them guarantee themselves a top 3 finish. Remember, if you do make it into winners final, you do immediately qualify for that top 3, because even if you get knocked up there, you're only going as far as the underground final. You get how it generally works. A podium is guaranteed for you, provided you can make it to winners final. So we'll have this matchup start up for you in just a moment. Alistair and Aloy are still doing battle in round 2. The winner of that will take on Iceman in the second semi-final. The loser will take on Yoshi Bowser down in the underground round 1 bracket, where we also see Kozolina going up against Jonathan, Yam versus Dazza, and Akrim versus Mophead. And with that, we are ready to go. It will be Junior on the left hand side of your screen coming in with Kid Cobra, Riffa on the right coming in as Helix. Got a little bit of a switch up for what Riffa is up to. Definitely a different character choice than we normally see. Normally we see a Ninja or a Masango coming out. So we get a purpley Helix friend instead. Guardian for Junior, I think we're all accustomed to seeing our wonderful shocking shield alongside that Ram as well. Meanwhile for Riffa, we've got the interesting combination of the Lockjaw and the Popper. The Popper, one of the more quicker arms in this game, but can we punch through by pretty much anything? Alongside the Lockjaw, one of the more unique arms in this game, which fires out the Fireball projectile if charged, and then follows on in with the rest of the punch. Definitely keeps your opponent guessing in terms of what they need to be looking out for. And so far they are trading back and forth pretty evenly, it must be said. Neither player able to take control of this matchup just yet, as Riffa just kind of casually chilling towards the hot pocket area. It does get caught by the Ram as well. He looks one of the more flexible characters in more ways than one, and caught by the grab of Junior, which will do big damage. Cobra is such a slippery, slidey snake. It does extra damage with the grabs. As a result, their arms are slightly bigger as well. Rush comes in. This should be a KO. It is a KO. And Junior starts as they mean to go on, kicking butts and taking names, specifically Riffa. We are going to see the Boomerang make an appearance now, so both with curved utility now, and obviously they'll see if they can go better against the Guardian. As a result, Rush will come out, gets a bit of juggle in there, 285, decent rush there from Riffa, certainly got what they wanted, and also catching Junior again with the rank. And it is one of the weaknesses of the Guardian. It is essentially an additional shield. It moves very slowly, and it does mean that if Riffa can get into a position where the Popper can at least hit, or the Boomerang can, because now they've got two ways around this, then they'll easily catch Junior out, and so far it's working okay, but the Guardian does manage to catch them in the tip of the jump, and Junior now trying to keep this as close as possible, not allow Helix to really excel at these long range plays, starting to bring the health down. They do have Rush to go as well, so you know it'll probably be coming up at some point, but Riffa just keeps getting very fortunate with these Popper rushes. And speaking of rushes, Junior pins Riffa into the hot pocket, not the place you want to be. And Riffa is a hit away from going to just about gets the shield up before the Boomerang or the Guardian can make its way around. 25 seconds left on the clock. The Boomerang, if that had hit, that would have been great for Riffa. Exactly what they needed, as Junior just continues to slip slide away, and the grab was punched through by the Ram. Good placements as always from Junior, good timing, and they will start with the win. Junior takes the first point away from Riffa, and like I said, normally we're used to seeing Ninjara or Nisango come up. They are very much two of Riffa's main characters, so it's always nice to see one of the top players come out with a very different character. We have seen him dabble with Helix here and there, but not as much, so clearly wanted to try and learn a new playstyle, and will be sticking with the Helix as we go into Temple Ground. Sticking with that combination, that pretty much nothing changed on the loadout for Riffa. Junior, meanwhile, going to bring in the Nade instead of the Guardian as we come into a slightly wider, and also the 4-pillar pronged Temple Ground. So slight height deviations, and Helix being caught out a little bit here and there, especially from those explosions. Junior off to a very quick start. Does get caught with the self-destruct, which is one of the risks you run, having an explosive arm on your side. If it does get disarmed, it has the potential to self-destruct if it was charged up already. See Riffa just trying to force the initiative, keep Cobra grounded as much as possible, and also just continue to be a flexible tower. Catches in with the, just realized I wasn't sure which one it was, but another counterplay as well. Riffa stops Junior's rush from going anywhere close to connecting, and double wind elements are definitely keeping Cobra in a lot of trouble here, especially with Rush ready. And now I'm going to try and pin Junior in this corner. Not where they want to go, but they do slip away. Thankfully, Riffa managed to get a little bit of consolation there. Catches Junior right towards the tail end. Yes, it was only about 30 damage, but they'll certainly take it over the hit that Junior could have potentially had. One more knock is all they're looking for. They do double commit. They get one of those to connect. That is all that Riffa needs. So the Guardian is, well, thinking about bringing the Guardian back in, but still I'm going to know in here, Junior, but they're not going to go double ram. Surely not. They are going to go double ram. So this is going to be an interesting play here from Junior, going for double curved utility here. And now it really is the case of, can they hit Riffa before the Popper can make any kind of impact? Well, they will hit in with the rush, 370. It's a lot of damage for a rush. They are both fire elemental arms, so you would assume the damage would be there anyway. So it's up to Riffa to just play this carefully and patiently. Managed to get the grab to keep Junior grounded as they dance around the pillars, as we are accustomed to do in a stage like Temple Ground. In a lab definitely gets a lot more dancing of the pillars if they get 6 of those. But here and now, Riffa is bringing the health deficit right back down. Junior again is going to get juggled, and that's going to be a KO. Oh, when you're that close to critical and you get caught with a windy hit, you know the rush will come in, and it's big time damage. And Riffa, well, Riffa proving why they are one of the best players, why they have won so many of these tournaments time and time and time again. It is one apiece in the semi-final. Looks like Buster Beach is where we will return to. Riffa did struggle with Buster Beach. Originally, we saw Junior pretty comfortably take that win towards the end. The Lockjaw is going to come back out again, potentially, but Riffa, I feel like they found what works. The popper and the boomerang definitely working better. And Junior, again, because we're back to Buster Beat, it gives them the chance to try and slow this down again, utilize the Guardian, and also that Ram Ram, but again, keeping the shield up just a little too long, and they are going to see themselves grabbed and taken down by the Tower of Helix. Guardian quickly retracts. They've got to be very cautious here. Riffa isn't afraid of just taking the lower ground here, knowing the fact that Helix can stretch up, become a very long tower or a puddle as well. So very much designed to try and duck around a lot of attacks that Junior has. But having said that, Kid Cobra does have the bigger arms by default. So there's only so much you can avoid. It does get swept up towards the tail end of that rush. Not as much damage as Riffa would like, but crucially, he keeps the momentum on their side. Junior, not too far away from critical, does have rush, gets a shock with the Guardian, and manages to get the grab in as well. A nice toasty 175 damage, keeps the rush intact, knowing full well that they've still got a lot of health to chip away down. That popper again, just catching them on the retraction of the Guardian. And that's exactly what Riffa is playing into, but the rush will come out. 295 up to 355 as Riffa drops into critical and caught by a 1-2 in the air. Junior just missing the grab. That would have absolutely given them the KO with 10 seconds to go. Riffa knows they have to do something, but they drop the shield and move straight into the smiley face of the Guardian. And it means it's set point for Junior, as the Lockjaw is going to come back out for Riffa, so they're going to try and do something a little different, and it hits! Oh, and a struggle continued as well a little bit there, 365 damage. Beautiful start for Riffa, as you are wont to expect when they're backed into against the wall. Junior finally does find a way through with the ramp, just taking Helix down immediately, but Riffa is not afraid to just come straight back at them, and whilst Junior's health has been halved, it is the case of Riffa trying to bait out the rush there from Junior and catches them with the Lockjaw again. Now the rush will come out and do big time damage, 305 as Riffa drops to the floor, both on very similar health levels here. And the Guardian again catches Helix just as they were coming back towards the floor, and nice little jump over the grab there as well from Riffa, so keeps them very much in this game, and they do have rush to go. Quickly caught out by the Chakram, and oh my word, and another catch out, and that could cost Riffa this set, but Junior also into critical now. Riffa is a hit away from going down and giving Junior a guaranteed top 3, and it would be quite the rarity to see Riffa not make it into winners final, and they are incredibly close to Lockjaw. Gives Junior a knockback, and somehow Riffa holds on. Oh, they hold on for dear life. Junior does still have the advantage here. They do have rush charged up, and they'll deploy it immediately, catching Riffa out, and that takes up 345 good old damage. And Riffa caught on the shock as well. An absolutely amazing start for Junior. Making up for how they lost that point, they already have Riffa into critical. That is absolutely key. Junior's health bar is full, and that's a shock, and that's a perfect. That is a perfect against Riffa, and Riffa is not guaranteed to finish in top 3, as Junior, with the upset, makes it into winners final. Well, that will change things massively here. Junior makes it into winners final. Riffa will have to do some additional fighting down there in the underground bracket. It's, like I said, it's a rarity that Rifa does not make it into winners final, and that, my friends, is a pleasant surprise. Of that there is no doubt. But who will Junior face in winners final? That is going to be the question, as we are surely we are not awaiting on round 2 still. We are still waiting on round 2. Alistair and Aloria's results have not been submitted yet. So Iceman is still waiting in the semi-final. We're not entirely sure what is happening there. We'll give you an update once we have it, but apparently those two are still fighting, which surely that should have finished by now. For the underground bracket, Kozalina has knocked Jonathan out of the competition, Yam has knocked Daza out, and Okrim has knocked Mobhead out, all three winning by 2 points to 0. So underground round 2 looks currently like this. Yam will take on Okrim, Kozalina will take on the winner of Yoshi Bowser, and the loser of Alistair Aloria. So yeah, the tournament will be massively playing catch up at this point, as we still have no idea what the result of Alistair Aloria is. The winner of the Kozalina matchup in the underground bracket will go on to take on Ritha. Of that we do know. So yeah, Ritha has to actually fight to make it into top 4. That's a thing I did not expect to say when I started this competition up. So whilst we await for round 2 to actually catch up, we are going to take a very quick breather. When we come back, the second semi-final, as we start to gear up towards the top 3 of the 62nd EU Arms Challenge Cup. Do not go away, my friends. And we are back for the 62nd installment of the EU Arms Challenge Cup. Semi-final 2 is about to be underway, and it will involve Iceman and Alistair. So after a pretty lengthy wait, Alistair was able to take out Aloria in their best of 3 matchup. It is still best of 3s at this time of asking as we jump into our second semi-final. We had Junior upset Riffa with a 2-1 matchup, making their way into the semi-finals. Riffa naturally being the number 1 seed because of course they're the number 1 seed, especially with the reigning champion Grimwood not taking part today. So can Alistair make an upset of their own by taking out Iceman in the second semi-final? It would be a very interesting top 3. Of that there is no doubt if that plays out, with Iceman on the left hand side of your screen, Alistair on the right. It is Ribbon Girl and Dr. Coyle. Will she be unstoppable, or is Ribbon Girl going to be able to get the better of her? We'll find out with the nade and Tri-Blast, so all explosive goodness immediately, and Alistair is not moving. That bodes well. Alistair is immobile. It looks like Coyle's engine has stalled, and that's not how I thought this matchup was going to go, and we are going to immediately DC. Well, it would not be a competitive tournament of any description if there was not at least one technical hiccup. It had to happen. It absolutely had to happen. So we'll have a quick little breather as we allow Alistair to just quickly reset a few things, and hopefully we'll have them back as soon as possible. Obviously, because the matchup did start, the rules will be that both will come in with the same character, will both have the same arms loadout, and we will resume from there. So I can talk a little bit about Ribbon Girl and Dr. Cole. Ribbon Girl, one of the more agile characters in this game, that has the ability to do a fair amount of jumping. That wonderful double hop ability of theirs, incredibly quick. Coyle on the other side of things, they are I say a walking armada. They are a floating armada, able to stay up in the air for quite a long amount of time. So both them and Ribbon Girl share the same trait, but unlike Ribbon Girl, Coyle has a third arm that they can utilize. Either the left or the right, it is a random, whichever way it goes. So if you've got 2 different arms, you could get 2 of one, you could get 2 of the other. If you go in with the same arm equipped, you're essentially running triple variants of that. And that comes up every time you see Coyle do a charge. On top of that, they've got the invisibility to allow them to, when they do get knocked down, they will spawn back up with the cloak active. And it also activates if they hold up their shield for a prolonged period of time. So the matchup is underway again. Iceman still on the left hand side of the screen, coming in with the explosive combo of the nade and the Tri-Blast. Alistair, meanwhile, Toaster and Funchuck. So going in with a slightly different setup to try and take down the Ribbon. Hopefully relying on all of the aggression from the Toast and the Funchuck, provided they can hit this ever-moving target. But having said that, Alistair is kind of the same. Rush does come out and is going to just hit the shield and nothing more than that. Does manage to get another glove hit, but the nades are going to start catching up to Coyle if allowed to go unchallenged. Iceman does have Rush. We'll see if they're able to get better purchase on it. You can see how quickly Coyle charges up their Rush on instead, because they're throwing out so many arms. The charge just goes up so quickly, even if they're not hitting the target. Shield is up, not going to be able to break even with them. So much pressure though means that a couple more hits might break it on either side, but Alistair comes zooming back down and gets the KO instead. Nice use of the Rush, caught Ribbon Girl while they were fully extended. Nothing that Iceman could do about it, and Alistair will take the initiative in this matchup. Iceman not going to switch out from anything here, and to be fair, neither does Alistair. Both like their respective loadouts on Mausoleum, so they're going to see if they could just make this work that little bit better. Alistair again gets a couple more hits in there, but so too has Iceman at the moment. Again, another chuck. The chucks are always a nice weapon to come out with. It has two different modes of attacking, one on the ground and one in the air. You'll see pretty much all of the aerial versions of the chuck attacks because Coil is, well, consistently in the air. That's just what she do. Rush will come out, but Rippengo was already clean away from it, and Alistair could not get the shield up, and the explosion right at Coil's feet sweeps them down and gives Iceman a chance to get back into this. But having said that, they jumped straight into the toaster not once but twice and make that 3 times, only that time it was the fun chuck. Arm weak on the right hand side as well for good measure, and so far this is just not working out for Iceman. And Alistair is going to take the first point in this matchup. Could we are about to see 2 upsets in a row for this semi-final. I can tell you right now that if this ends up going the way it does and Alistair is able to get the victory over Iceman, I will tell you right now, I don't think we've ever had a top 3 with Junior and Alistair in it at the same time, so that would be a historic moment of that, there is no doubt. But we have a VAR check. We may be having a lag dispute, and we may see that reset immediately. We're waiting on both fighters involved, and it looks like it is going to be reset. A point is not going to stand. So it will be 0-0, and we are resetting this match for the second time. Both will keep their respective arm combinations. Nade, Tri-Blast going up against Toaster and Funchuck. Both are locked in and ready to go. It is the first matchup between these two again. And we're going to see how this one proves on this occasion. Both getting caught with a slight little knockback from the explosion, but it is Alistair who gets the better of the exchange and continues on the merry way. The pulse just about, and connection gone. And my connection is gone as well. So, cool. It looks like internet issues all around here. So, great starts for everyone involved there, and we got kicked in the process, so, oh, dear me. Not sure what else is going to be happening here, so as it stands, it will now go the other way. It is now oh my god, it is now 1-0 to Iceman. The disconnect happening makes that 3 strikes and out, and you gotta love internet issues. The fact that it kicked me as well was very nice, so it'd be like that sometimes, but it does mean that Iceman will get that point on virtue of it being another connection issue. So we will see where this plays out. If Alistair is going to come back in for the second matchup, or are we going to see a forfeit happen right here and now? It will be unfortunate if that is the way it ends up going, but well, You can't win them all, I guess, so... Okay, and we are going straight back to Mausoleum, almost like it just never happened, but it is going to be a brand new match between these two at this point. Semi-final number 2 is underway again, and it is currently 1-0 for Iceman at this point, with Alistair continuing in with the coil, toaster and punch up, as Iceman immediately hops right on off to the left hand side of Alistair's screen. Always incredibly hard to keep up with that. Another explosion on Alistair's side, just giving them a little bit of recoil, but Alistair never wanted to just stop and just take a breather. They just want to come in swinging, but that's essentially what coil is designed to do. Another shield on the wake up, just trying to expect what Iceman is throwing at the table. Iceman doesn't have rush. Another explosion catching them off guard. Does manage to half their health and manages to somehow get a punch in there that completely cancelled out that rush. I'm pretty sure there might be more connection issues on the horizon as another rush comes out. That's 290 to Alistair, who now finds himself in critical condition. Manages to get a Funchuck hit at the very least, make that 2 in a row, and a quick little 1-2 combo. If they can keep this chain up and keep Iceman grounded, they may yet take this point right back away from them. And with just under 30 seconds to go, it's anyone's guess where this will go. A Funchuck does manage to land, and Alistair is going to see if they can hold on to the rush, and they do! They take rush advantage into the next point. That's exactly what they needed. Round 2 is underway. Iceman again going to stick with the nade, and the Triblast gets decked by the Funchuck right in the face. Alistair can tell they're just waiting to utilize the rush a little bit better, knowing full well that Iceman is incredibly quick. Does manage to catch another hit in, and gets a self-destruct in the midst of all of that. And you just see, if Alistair doesn't hit Ripnigol directly, as long as they can disarm one of the explosive arms, it keeps Iceman on their toes. Of that there is no doubt. Rush will come out, and Coil just about gets the shield up in time, deflects the rest of that away, and also comes in with another quick 1-2. Alistair continuing where they left off. They want to actually get a point in on this set. They have the health lead. They will go with the rush. They will hit with the rush. And will that be a KO? No, it will not. 285 damage. They're looking for one more tap. They have so much health on their side of the field, but they keep floating in to the Triblast hits of Iceman. But finally the punch finds its way through, and Alistair gets the point back. They will tie up this set, and for the second semi-final in a row, it's 1 apiece. Oh, don't tell me we're having another VAR. Please don't tell me we're having another VAR. It looks like this might stand. It stands! The point stands. Okay, it is 1 apiece in the second semi-final. We will be having a match 3 to determine who will go into winners final, who will book their ticket into top 3. Will it be Iceman or will it be Alistair? It's anyone's guess at this point. And like I said, if Iceman and Riffa both drop down into underground bracket, that would be a story. That would be a story in and of itself. Like, both Iceman and Riffa not making it into winners final, not guaranteed to be in the top 3. What in the world would this be? It would just be... You never know. You never know in this scene. We are going to travel to Buster Beach. Iceman remains as Rip and Alistair remains as Coil. Will either of them switch weapons? I don't think so. Funchuck, Toaster, and the bolts are back there if Alistair needs them. But speaking of bolts, Iceman will bring out the set of theirs, not the triplex this time around, and also comes in with a Toaster of their own, which will immediately peg Coil and send her straight down to the floor. But this is Coil we're talking about. They'll fire back in with one of their own, and there's less space for Ribbon to really be able to dart to the left and the right, especially when they're in the hot pocket. They want to be out onto the above ground of things, because as long as Coil continues to have this dominance, this aerial superiority... Oh, we got it. Oh my gosh, we got it. Come on! Come on, really? And we are back with the 62nd installment of the EU Arms Challenge Cup. We are here in Winners Final. The top 3 currently consist of Junior and Iceman, but which of those 2 will be booking their ticket into Grand Final, and which will have to battle it out in the Underground Final at a second attempt? We are going to find out very soon as Iceman goes up against Junior in the first of our best of 5 series. Stakes are a little bit higher now, especially since Iceman is currently trying to chase after that 13th cup win, whereas Junior is only chasing after their 2nd. So the stakes are incredibly high. Ribbon Girl on the left hand side of your screen, Cobra on the right hand side of your screen. It's going to be Nade versus the, well, Nade versus Nade, but it's the hottest of slaps versus the Guardian, and already Iceman is getting decked very quickly by Junior here, having to be careful of their own regard as well, bearing in mind the slap will be able to curve right on around that shield, but the Guardian pressure, you never want to underestimate it, and so far the Nade is keeping Iceman at bay as well. So Junior off to a flying start, and double commit there as well, but the Nade does find the purchase, the slap does finally manage to fling on around, but it's not fully charged up, so Junior remains on their feet, finally caught out by the Nade at the very least. Iceman slowly but surely bringing this back into contention, both with Rush ready to go, and you know for a fact that if Junior can score with the Guardian Rush, it's going to be big time trouble for Iceman. They both just nip and hop just around the middle platform. Iceman finally going to go on the slight bit more aggression, but couldn't quite find any purchase, just the shield and nothing more for the time being, as we rapidly approach 30 seconds left on the clock of our first matchup for Winners Final. Now Junior finally relinquishes that health lead. Iceman now with a bit more control, another solid hit with the hot slap, does manage to hit the shield. That's going to be chip damage and nothing else, and caught out by the Nade again, and this is where Junior is at their most devious here. They're going to go for the rush, and actually does wall Iceman in, but they don't get the drop that they wanted it to, and as a result they're going to waste that rush, and that is just unfortunate, and it is going to be Iceman who takes the initiative in the first matchup. Gonna stick with that Guardian, and the Nade immediately caught out by Iceman. Make that 2 explosions in a row. Junior, well, trampoline has been broken and both went up for it, but Junior easily got the better of that exchange, and now they're going to put Ribbon under a mountain of pressure here as they get caught out in midair by the explosion again. And notice how Junior is just relentless here. They just excel when the trampoline is out. Another explosion, and suddenly Iceman is losing control of this situation. Junior just almost having them walled out. Finally Iceman goes for the trampoline themselves and finally starts to U-turn this right on around. And obviously with the fact that Ribbon can just jump and bounce as to their heart's content, they won't mind at all the fact that the trampoline is up. So look how quickly it does turn back into Iceman's favor, but the Nade comes crashing on in for Iceman, both with Rush ready to go. Iceman on the cusp of critical, the grab comes out, that's the last thing Iceman needed. 30 seconds on the clock, the Rush will be deployed. It won't get the KO, but it almost does. 380. Rush will come out from Junior, but they're not going to hit anything with that. And that is another wasted rush, and Junior jumps right on into Iceman's punch and gives them the lead.
Thank you.
So Iceman starts off with the better start. Junior had that second match under control for such a long time, and then the second Iceman found a way to just U-turn that around and started playing with the trampolines themselves, suddenly the momentum just completely shifted, and all of the damage that Junior had managed to put in just ended up being for naught as we head into Buster Beach, and Junior gonna switch things up big time. Away from the Cobra, we are now going to see the Twin Tail. So very different playstyle here. Especially with the fact that we're going to have double roasters by the looks of it. Unless Junior wants to change out last second. We are going to see a change out last second. It's going to be the Cracker and it's going to be the Chakram. So we got the stunned curved utility and the fast pop. I say the fast popper. The fiery version of the popper. So that little bit more damage at their disposal, but Iceman immediately walling that out. Remember, the nade will be able to win. Well, to be fair, anything that Iceman has will be able to punch through the Cracker. So it just comes down to that added AO, the added coverage that the Cracker does have, and so far Junior is starting to finally wall that up, forces the self-destruct off the Tri-Blast and the nade, and slowly but surely they're bringing this right back into contention for themselves. Couldn't quite get around with the Ram though. Ram just about not making it as the explosions do finally start to catch up on Junior, and another solid nade hit from Iceman. Do remember that the nade and the roasters, when we do see them, they are unguided arms, so that's all manual aim. There's no auto guidance system in that whatsoever. Iceman with the health lead catches Twin Tail in the air again with another solid Tri-Blast connection. They get a stun of their own, follows up with the Cracker. It's such a quick arm to utilize, but the rush will come out from Iceman and forces in another KO. And Iceman is determined to try and get another cup in their bag at their disposal. Another nade Tri-Blast combo coming out. Junior gonna switch out. We're gonna see the roaster coming out now. So both gonna play with the unguided arms, and it's Twin Tail who starts off with the grab this time round, taking Iceman out, and a second grab from that follow-up for the Chakram. Great little combination of plays from Junior. And also finds a way through with the roaster. That spicy damage sends Iceman past the halfway mark. A little bit of an exchange that Iceman does finally start to win out, and now the Tri-Blast start to do their damage. You see the bolt hit, and then they initiate the explosion. So it's just that is where the additional damage is coming from, and just like that, Iceman has turned this completely on its head. Rush will come out from Junior. It will get connection. 305 sends Iceman into critical, but they're not going to be too worried about that range grab attempt from Junior. Sometimes they do end up working. It quite surprises your opponent when that happens. But again, being walled out by the series of explosions. Caught in mid-air by the Chakram. Iceman just a punch away from going down, and the roaster does connect. Junior is going to make sure that Iceman does not take this away immediately. Another roaster coming back out, this time alongside the Chakram. Missing on their first hit, not missing on the second though. You always love to see the extra spicy purple flame make its way around the second it connects. The damage is definitely felt, although having said that, so too is the nade. Iceman not afraid to keep committing to this double explosive goodness. And so far, managed to get another series of explosions that just continues to wall Twin Tail out, continues to cause these flinches, but unfortunately sidestepping right into another roaster blow. And it's really just back and forth trades at this point between the two. With a rush available for both, Iceman does manage to save it, not once but twice there. Not the full damage they would have liked, but crucially it has sent Junior on the cusp of critical. Make that into critical, and they have quite the sizable health lead here. And Junior knows they have to find a way of deploying this rush, and Iceman knows that Junior has to do all of the work at this point. And again, just another hit, even just an explosion will absolutely do. A grab will also be just as sweet. And Iceman gets themselves another point. It's a 2-0 lead in winners final. Iceman desperately wants to claim a 13th cup win. They want to tie Yada's second place standing and inch ever closer to Riffa's reign. Between the three of them, well, I mean, Iceman has 12 cup wins, Yada has 13, and Riffa has 16. So those three are definitely the ones who have certainly won the most, and they don't really like giving anybody else an opportunity to win titles anymore. So, crucially for Junior, they have to find a way of stopping Iceman here and now. Otherwise, they are booking their ticket into Grand Finals with a clean 3-0. Kid Cobra comes back out. Guardian and Butcher is going to be the name of the game for this one. Meanwhile, Nade and the hottest of slaps are coming back out for Iceman. Certainly no stranger to that. The Action's finally switching out the Tri Blast for a change. I think they must have known the Guardian was coming back out. So far, the explosions are walling out against Iceman rather than for Iceman. As the Guardian comes back out and just smiles with glee, both on similar health here. And that Butcher, I'm going to see a little bit more of its other variant of attacking, since Cobra is a more grounded character. Slip and slide, just kind of keep that range from Iceman, not really allowing Ribbon to get into gear or even try to play anywhere near aggressively. Junior closed the gap in so quickly, and one of the wonderful attributes that Cobra has. And another rush connection, 310. Iceman drops down onto the cusp of critical. Manages to catch an explosion though, keeps Junior at bay, but with 23 seconds to go, Iceman has a decision to make on whether or not they want to hold on to rush or try to go for the last second place. They do manage to get another 1-2 combo hit here and get the grab, and with 10 seconds to go, this may still yet fling into Iceman's favor. Rush is going to come out, and it does connect! And that will give them the health lead with 3 seconds left on the clock. If they take no damage, they've got this in the bag, and they have! They turned it around beautifully. And Junior will literally be kicking themselves for that. They had the lead, and Iceman came straight back in. They will get taken out by the Hydra immediately. Good arm switch to try and just cover that aerial base that Ribbon Girl does possess. But so far, it's working out nicely for Iceman as the nade and the hot slap comes back in yet again. Just about avoiding the Hydra Bolt on that occasion. But so far, Junior knows that this is set point. They have to do something to stop Iceman from just going straight through, uncontested essentially. They've had the chance to bring this back, but so far, it's just to no prevail. As both have rush charged right back up. The Hydra gets a hit in not once but twice, but not charged up, so it's not the full amount of damage, and it certainly doesn't pop Ribbon Girl on the floor. Instead, it goes the other way as the hottest of slaps finds a way through, and the rush hits again. 310 damage sends Junior into critical. Finally decked by the Hydra in the middle of the air. But again, they're just consistent with the slap. They only need one more hit, and an explosion will most certainly count for that right above their head on the left-hand side. And Iceman wins in a clean session. It's a 3-0 victory for Iceman. They are in the grand final. And meanwhile, down in the underground bracket, I can tell you right now that Carlina has knocked out Eloya by 2 points to 0. Yam defeated Okrib by 2 points to 0. So into underground round 3 we went. Riffa took out Carlina 2 points to 0. And Alistair, unfortunately, is DQ'd after everything that happened with them in the semi-final. They are DQ'd, and Yam goes through on a bye. So it means that the next match up for our top 4 positions, it will be Riffa to go up against Yam. So this for a place in the top 3. Well, this is going to be extremely spicy. Do remember that between these two, Yam has only made the top 3 on 5 occasions. 3 third places and 2 second places. Riffa, do we really need to make the numbers? 7 third places, 15 seconds, and 16 victories. I think it's safe to say that Riffa expects to be in the top 3 at this stage. So they're going to have to do a best of 3 set against Yam in order to book their ticket into it. So we'll see what they're able to do. Riffa on the left hand side of your screen coming in with the Helix, Popper and Lockjaw. Yam on the right with Lola Pop. And so far making a name for themselves, getting the early damage into Riffa and putting them under pressure, coming in with the Sparky and the Scorpio. Scorpio, just like the Chucks, have 2 ways of attacking. They scuttle along the ground as a Scorpion, and then they turn into a Frisbee in the middle of the air. And that poison stack will definitely hinder Helix quite a little bit, gives them that little extra stutter, and so far Yam is off to a flying start, keeping Riffa under a lot of pressure, not taking as many hits, although the arm is weak on the right hand side, and only so much before that finally cracks, but they take full advantage of that, because 305 damage goes the way of Riffa via that rush, and leaves the poisonous stack as well. They are just looking for 1 hit. 1 more hit is all Yam needs, and they will take the initiative in this setup, and they get it with the Scorpion. Yam has a point lead here on the arm weak on the right hand side. Make that destroyed by Riffa, who's now going to start trying to get back into the zone on Sparring Ring as the Popper comes flying on in. Remember, it is one of the quicker arms in the game. Yes, it can be punched through by everything, but they will catch Yam in the air with that rush. 350, make that 335. And just like that, the damage has been done. Yam already past the halfway mark, but they are being incredibly consistent with the Scorpio of their own. Getting that poison stack applied, keeping Riffa at bay, and actually bringing that health right back down. And they have rush. Popper, unfortunately, just about missing, and the shield is up. And nothing else is going to happen from there. Yam tried to go for the long range grab, but the Popper was always going to deny that. Yam finds themselves in critical as a result, and it is Riffa who has the advantage here, almost has rush ready to go. Yam knows a couple more hits will not help their cause, and now anything will do, but they do crucially find a Sparky hit that does send Helix right back down. So it's really the case of, can they get the rush charged up? They can't. Another hit, this time from the Boomerang, I think, curves its way around, and Lola drops down. And Riffa again, proving why they've won this tournament time and time and time again. Coming back in with a 1-1 situation. Has the rush available to go, but crucially Yam keeps them at bay. The Tri-Blast, a really good switch in here. Just covers that a little bit more ground and puts Riffa under a whole lot more pressure, and so far it is definitely working out. Trying to go again for these long range grabs, but Riffa is having none of it, and both trade their respective blows. So that went quite nicely for Yam, and the rush to boot is going to make absolute certain that Riffa will find their way into critical, and Yam knows a couple more hits will do it, but that grab, you cannot afford to let Riffa grab you in these kind of conditions. They do have rush to go as well, but another bolt is finally able to land, and another quick little exchange. Riffa knows they can't afford to have this go any other way, but they do have rush to go as well, and the intimidation factor is going to come in, but the bolts are going to hit. The bolts find their mark, and Yam is going to take the lead in this set. It is a best of 3. It's the last best of 3 of the tournament. But Yam, crucially, has a 1-0 lead. This would blow the championship wide open. We are going to see Riffa go back to one of his mains. Misango is going to come out for this matchup against Yam's Lollipop. Yam looking to try and book their ticket into the top 3 for only the 5th time in their Challenge Cup career. Can they best the revolution that is Rifa? We are going to find out, as the mask immediately donned is the blue variant, gives Rifa that little extra speed to just nimble on around. Masango with that unique trait of those 3 masks. The red will give them more power, and the yellow is going to make sure that their rushes are uncontested. And so far, Yam knows that they have to keep Rifa at bay as much as possible. Both training back with their respective flows. The Cracker is going to come in alongside that Coolerang, so they'll try and stall out Yam as much as possible. And there is that yellow mask, and Yam knows full well if they go for the rush, Rifa will just cancel it out with theirs. So it's crucial you find a way to demask the mask, and that's exactly what has happened. Yam gets the shock with the Sparky, sends Rifa right back down. When will they choose to capitalize on the situation? The answer is not just yet. Blue mask will come up for Rifa, gives them that little extra speed, but Yam crucially has the health lead as we approach 30 seconds to go. The Coolerang hit, and the Cracker was not far away, and a long range grab from Rifa, just showing that Yam is not the only one to go for those kind of grab attempts. Rifa sensed the opportunity to do so and went for it. They are both on similar health, but another quick 1-2 chain from Yam gives them back the initiative, but they jump into the rush. Having said that, they only took a little too, not as much, but unfortunately they couldn't get the read on theirs, and it hands Rifa the point as a result. Oh, they deployed their rush immediately. That was... Oh, Yam, you should have waited. You should have waited on that. There was no way you were going to make that play. And Rifa, as a result, takes the initiative away and is looking to tie the set up 1 apiece. The red mask is up. Big time power coming in from Rifa, and Yam knows they have to find a way of taking that away, because unfortunately that punch just did not do anything, and the grab will come out as well. That's 180, and Rifa suddenly in complete control of this situation. Reflecting off the Sparky, letting it come as far as possible before they go into the swing of things. Rush is ready to go. Yam finally has theirs, but look at the health difference already. Yam has it all to do as we go underneath 50 seconds left. And you just sense that hesitation now. Yam just isn't sure about what they want to do against this. Masango gets the trade, but it goes the worst way for Yam as they are on the cusp of critical, and Rifa knows they're going to go for this rush, but Yam gets away with it. No damage taken. This might be the opportunity to try and turn things around, and gets the shock, but they're not close enough to get any kind of follow-up. Rush will come out as well now, but again, Rifa is going to get the shield up and just protect themselves. And with Yam in critical with 17 seconds left on the clock, it pretty much is academic at this point that Rifa is going to tie up this set by 1 point to 1. 8 seconds left. Yam in critical, they know full well that Rifa is just going to shield this away. And that is essentially that. The KO comes up and Rifa ties this setup. The second Rifa picks either Masango or Ninjara. It just feels like an absolute mountain to climb, and well, that is exactly what we thought would happen. It was only a matter of time before Rifa pulled either of them out of the hat. Helix just was not working for Rifa. And as it stands, it's 1 apiece, and Yam has a mountain to climb here if they wish to book their ticket into the top 3 and cause a monumental upset. Rifa stays as Masango. We're going back to Buster Beach, but for Yam, we're now going to see a switch. We're going to see Ribbon Girl make an appearance here. So we're going to trade off for a little bit more agility now as we go Chiller and Thunderbird. Nice to see the Thunderbird still getting some love these days. It's caught by the Cracker not once but twice. Breaks with the arm on the right hand side and weakens up the one on the left. Rifa again in relentless pressure from the early goings, and Yam taking a little bit longer to get back used to things, but does get the Thunderbird shock hit. sends River back down, who immediately retaliate with a punch all of their own. Chiller finally finds a way down. Actually immediately robs River of the mask, but they immediately equip the yellow mask away. Yam just cannot get a moment where they cannot allow River to equip that mask. It's just always on. The second they have the chance to do so, it's there. Again, that intimidation factor, knowing full well that Yam can't do anything about it. And another rush hit does at least take them down. So nothing else will come up from that. And again, these just quick little taps here and there just keeps bringing Yam down bit by bit by bit. And River just looking for one more punch. Yam's hit, both hit the plinth. Nothing that they could do about it. Another chill, another grab attempt before River might try to go for the knockout punch, but biding their time, just letting Yam exhaust themselves and give them as little chance as possible to actually get back into it. If anything, I feel like River's just charging Rush back up so it's ready for the next matchup. They know they've got this one. They'll take the grab. Now they get the style KO that they were looking for with 4 seconds to go. And I don't think anybody is surprised when I say that River has turned this around once again and is a point away from booking their ticket into the top 3. Chiller again finds the way through. Yam just gonna dip and dive for the time being. Yellow Mask is gonna get equipped as the Koolerang and the Cracker begins to assert their dominance. Yam does manage to get the rush off in time and sends off 300 damage straight into River's face. Nothing that he was able to do about that time round, and actually gets stopped by that attempt. Yam gets the cancellation, and suddenly Yam is now popping off as they get another chiller hit. The red mask finally comes out, but look at the damage that Yam has managed to pull up here. River is essentially in critical condition. They don the yellow mask and they do get a knockdown on Yam, who is not too far away from a rush of their own. And there it is, River now with the red mask equipped. They're halfway up on their rush. Yam knows if they can find a way through, especially with this rush, and get the hit in, they will get the KO. But it's all about time, and they need to make sure that River does not have the chance to utilize their rush in any way here as another Cracker hit comes through. 30 seconds left on the clock, and now the yellow mask comes up. And that's the last thing Yam needed, because River is now going to play this beautifully. Rush is going to come out, but there's nothing that Yam can do about it because the yellow mask gives River the advantage. But the grab came up. The grab comes up, both very critical. 10 seconds left on the clock. Yam gets hit with a 1-2 combo. They're on very, very similar health here. But now it's a KO. It's a KO in the end. It just went straight away from them. They fell into River's trap of the yellow mask routine. And River is in the top 3 once again. Is there ever going to be a tournament where River does not make top 3? I think we already know the answer to that. Yam unfortunately cannot get themselves another top 3 finish. You would have absolutely loved to see it, but as it stands, it is going to be River moving on to the underground final. It is best of 5s from here on out, and it is going to be Junior to go up against River for a shot at the grand final. The underground final match is about ready to start. Riffa on the left hand side of the screen, Junior on the right. Riffa has pretty much taken the gloves completely off at this point. Straight back in as Misango and not Helix. So it's going to be a very different matchup between these two. Of that there is no doubt. Another Coolerang hit just robs Junior of Cobra's abilities for the time being, and the Cracker is expertly placed by Riffa. Once more, Blue Mask equipped, starts dancing absolute laps around Cobra, who has no response to this for the time being. It's the perfect start for Riffa at the moment, half in Junior's lead immediately. And as Junior tries to get back into control with their windiest of slams and the toaster, so far Riffa has been incredibly consistent with that Coolerang and the Cracker approach. Just about able to get the shield up this time around, and again just they just don't seem to have an answer for when Riffa just immediately dons the blue mask. Managed to get a glove hit to finally unfood, but again the Cracker is just so quick that they're just able to just keep Junior at bay, and another 1-2 hit is going to just rob Junior of any more chances to get straight back on into this, and another 1-2 set. Just one more hit is all that Riffa is looking for as the grab finally comes out and pops Riffa down, but you just know that Riffa's going to hold onto that rush, get the poke with the Cracker, and just take the initiative of this match. So what will Junior's decision be here? Well, we knew it was coming. Guardian comes out alongside that toaster. Coolerang will remain intact for Riffa, and they know full well the full stretch that Guardian has and the grab potential that Junior will get from it. I know they used grab a little too many times in that sentence, so that was my bad. Yellow Mask immediately equipped, but de-equipped from Riffa, who came up anyway and just said, you know what, fine, I don't need the mask. Here's 340 damage with your name on it, and the shield comes up as well. Nothing that Junior could do about it. Just like Yam in the previous set, tried to go for that rake up rush, and Riffa just immediately went, nope, I've got that completely covered. And now it really is just the case of just slowing this down to a crawl on weak on the left hand side. Nothing that Riffa could really do about it, considering the fact that the Guardian wasn't anywhere close. And Riffa knows if they just get a couple more hits in, they'll have this under control. There's one hit from the Coolerang, just about avoiding the toaster. And as long as they keep distance from the Guardian, Riffa knows they'll be absolutely fine. And that is going to be a 1-0 lead already to Riffa himself. Riffa is looking to just keep all of those cups to himself, not allowing anybody else to have a say, to disrupt the record books, to make their own kind of history. They want to make sure that they keep this all under their revolution, and it is going to be Riffa versus Junior, matchup number 2. Misango versus Cobra. We're going off to Via Dulce. In fact, I think the only stage at this point we haven't seen have been DNA Lab, and I do believe Scrapyard. Neither of those have made an appearance so far. Everything else has been on show today in terms of our official listing. And Riffa now has to try and fight their way out of the corner. Junior can easily wall off that central area, but the second Riffa is allowed to escape, you know full well that they are going to try and duck and dive around the entirety of Junior's arsenal. So far though, the Ram is proven to be a very good pick. But again, another 1-2 slip and slide is going to catch Junior off guard. And again, the Cracker just keeps them at bay. The Guardian just can't seem to do anything. It's almost like Junior is just relying on the Ram at this point and hoping that the Guardian will catch Riffa out, which so far it just isn't doing. Riffa have to block a few more hits than they'd like to. They're kind of stuck in this corner at the moment, and they feel the rush coming. They could have potentially gone for it there, and they will do now, but stopped by the Guardian, crucially via Junior. They get away with that attempt, but caught by the Cracker. So despite Junior having rush advantage, Riffa just doesn't care. Junior already essentially in critical here, and Riffa has barely been phased. Finally, they got caught by the rush. 360 finally halves Riffa's lead. Damage essentially done right there and then, but Riffa still has the lead. 20 seconds left on the clock. Caught by the Guardian shot at long last. Riffa gets caught by the Guardian, but immediately follows up with a charged Cracker hit. Make that 2 in a row. 7 seconds on the clock. Bounces through the barriers. And Riffa once again takes the lead. And so far, Riffa is just using their Guardian just so beautifully. Whether they're acting as a mask to give Riffa the buffs, or acting as like an additional mini shield, it just Riffa just seems to have an answer for everything Junior has, although it didn't have an answer for that grab respectively. The Guardian again tries to sneak its way on through. Yellow Mask is going to get equipped and immediately de-equipped. And that's exactly the kind of hit that Junior is looking to make. They try to establish their form in the midst of all of this as Viadals begins to really show what a unique stage it truly is. Junior again just waiting their time, biding their moment. Rush is going to come out there and catch Junior on the slide back. 305 I think was the damage done. And it puts Riffa back in contention and immediately halves Junior's deficit. They feel the rush coming. That's why they held the shield up. And Junior, well, they were trying to get a bait out, but instead they get grabbed instead. And Riffa just remains in the corner, just waiting to see what Junior will do next. And again catches them in the midst of their jump on the cusp of critical, make that into critical, and Riffa just has the confidence to go for these hits, and that is going to be a rush punish as well, and you just feel like it's only a matter of time before Junior just gets completely caught out. There is the Coolerang, and there is the 2-0 lead for Riffa. Well, Riffa not going to switch anything. Riffa has the confidence, they have the momentum, they know no matter what they do, there's just no answer. Junior just can't seem to find a way to crack through this. We are going to go back to Viadals. They want to try a similar strategy. They are always coming in with that Guardian, and they've got the Ram in the back. I love the fact that Riffa does have the Megawatt from Masango, but let's face it, that just isn't going to come out. And try to go for the grab, but Junior not going to have any of that. Does manage to get a free little punch despite being cooled down. And again, actually gets a grab of their own despite being frozen. Junior now really playing with their backs against the wall. They know they've got nothing to lose at this point. They're 2-0 down. They have to come out swinging. They have to make the plays because they know Riffa is not going to give them the chance to do anything else otherwise. A trade between the two, both get flawed, but crucially, Roaster is doing damage. But again, Riffa straight away with the Yellow Mask, with that intimidation, knowing that it's just, there's nothing Junior can really do until they can get that mask away. Rush comes out, but there's nothing that they can do. So much chip damage, gets 10 on the back end of it. So nowhere near as much damage as they'd like to, but again, it chains up. That chip damage did start to whittle Junior down, and because they have Rush already charged, Riffa isn't really losing anything for going for that chip damage. A grab from Junior, make that 2 in a row, however, is going to turn that right back into Junior's favor, and you just feel like if they wanted to pop Rush, they might choose to do so, because now they join Riffa into critical. Here comes the Rush, it will be a KO, there is the KO. And you knew Junior had to use it because they could not allow Riffa to take another point away from them. And it gives them the chance that they need to get back into this set. Blue Mask equipped for Masango now gives them that little extra speed, waiting for the grab to come as close as possible before flinging that out. And also gets the punish on the Rush. And suddenly Junior is playing a completely different game. They are turned on and they are bringing everything at their disposal to keep Riffa down and keep this set alive. Guardian again just slowly approaches, but the Coolerang and Cracker combination, you just cannot get away from it, can you? It fires around the shield and just trips Junior up, and just like that, their health lead is just gone. And Riffa, on similar health though, does manage to get another Cracker hit. They have Rush, and here comes the grab from Junior. It's nip and tuck. Junior knows they have to make this work right here and now. They get a punch with the Guardian. It's not charged, and it's Junior who gets it. The Yellow Mask was not on for Masango, so Junior wins out the Rush exchange. The Guardian rolls it out. It's 2-1 in the underground final. It isn't over yet. To Mausoleum we go. No rest for the wicked. Junior, well, they were 2-0 down. They are now 2-1 down. Crucially, Riffa still has control, but it's slowly slipping away from them. As the blue mask comes right back out, we are going to go away from those counter pick stages to back to the starter stages, the usual repertoire, the usual scene of Mausoleum. As Junior tries to slip and slide their way on through, knowing full well they're going to have to do this probably twice if they do manage to get the win here on Mausoleum against Riffa. Who's doing everything it takes to bring this Coolerang around the shield to stop Junior from getting any kind of purchase on this. And so far, Junior does have the upper hand. It is working out nicely for them, but the Cracker finally does find a way through, and it just that little extra damage, the last thing they want to be taken. It just robs them of that momentum. Cannot afford to have that happen. Yellow Mask is equipped. Catches Junior out with the grab attempt, waiting for the movement to go, and it's going to be chip damage and nothing else, but the grab is going to come out from Junior. It sends Riffa onto the cusp of critical, but Junior isn't far away as well, but the trampoline also going to come out and immediately fires in with not one but two immediate Cracker hits. Here comes the rush. It should KO. It will KO and actually catches Riffa completely by surprise. Junior is not giving up. There may still yet be an upset on the card as the Guardian tips Riffa down once again. They tried to go for the trampoline. In fact, they are not afraid to utilize this trampoline. Coolerang trying to find its way around the Guardian, but the Roaster is keeping Riffa at bay. And this is the crucial part here, is that with that trampoline open, it's a completely different game between these two. Riffa isn't afraid to go for it, but Junior, as Cobra, really does have more say, more leeway with the fact that trampoline being open. They can just slip and slide over it as well, which kind of gives Junior more accessibility, but they're allowing Riffa to fight from afar. Just try to find a way of closing them down if they can, knowing full well that Riffa isn't afraid to get aggressive, and these long range chains, they're starting to catch up on Junior here. Guardian not as effective as they'd like to be. It is covering off the trampoline, so Riffa can't really approach Junior. As long as that Guardian is just taking center stage, they have to play from range, and they're making it work quite nicely. They have the Yellow Mask up, knowing full well that means Junior really doesn't have a say on when they can utilize that rush until they find a way of bringing it down. They decide to start slipping and sliding on it, but again, Riffa just cool and calm here. They've got 20 seconds to go. They get another hit with the cooldown. Make that 2 in a row. Junior into critical. They know they've got to make a move, but there's nothing that they can do now with 10 seconds to go. Riffa has such a massive health lead, and they both know. They both already know that that is going to be it. And despite the offers from Junior to partake in a little bit of a dance-off, Riffa says, I don't want to dance. I want to KO you. And that's exactly what they do. And this is set point for Riffa. Winning this means he will be in grand finals, but the rush is going to come out, and unfortunately Riffa has the mask up, and Junior knew there was nothing that they could do to get anything out of that situation. That was all Riffa's. The second Junior committed. And now, with it back down to normal, Junior goes straight on the aggression, not afraid to go aggro with the Guardian. And Riffa has to quickly shut them down and take them onto the other side of the stage, but again, punished this time by Junior. Shield grabbed right on through, and the Guardian nearly took Riffa out there, but just about gets away with it. And now Riffa with the blue mask up, with that little extra speed as we've seen so many times before, quickly nips on past the Guardian and gets the shot! You cannot play too aggressive with Junior because that Guardian can and will shock the life out of you. And both with rush to go, Junior will deploy theirs now and quickly backs on up, knowing full well that Riffer has the advantage to go for it and lands it as well. Just about gets the chain to 235. 30 seconds left on the clock, and currently it's Riffer's lead, but now it's Junior's lead. Both in critical with 20 seconds left on the clock, and it's Junior, crucially, who has their health lead. They've got to try and keep this. They have to keep Riffer at bay. The Guardian gonna keep that pressure up. If the Coolerang can get through, Junior knows they'll lose that lead as the Guardian rapidly approaches once more. 5 seconds on the clock. They just need to hold on. They just need to hold on, and they will. We go to match 5, my friends. We go to match 5. Junior has not given up. Junior hasn't given up yet. We are going to go to DNA Labs for the first time today. This is where the Underground Final will be decided. Krakow and Coolerang versus the Guardian and the Roaster. The Blue Mask immediately equipped by Riffer as the dance around these tubes begin. And it really is going to come down to who is going to get the more consistent hits. So far, it's Riffer who starts off slightly the stronger of the two. The Cracker going to be very quick to avoid. The Coolerang obviously going to play around every single one of these tubes, and Junior knows it. Direct here with the Roaster, make that 2 hits in a row. And just like that, the health lead has been neutralized. Now the Guardian finally starts to catch up with Riffer, but the Coolerang is going to rob Junior of those abilities just about. I think both had an idea of going for the grabs and both just immediately met each other at the same time. But Junior continues to get these trades up and very consistent with the Roaster. So remember that they are all manually guided. And another hit with the Roaster. They just have a say as to which direction Riffer is going to go into. And this would be a massive shock. That is a massive shock. Set point. Set point. Reverse sweep potential. Right here and now. Both with rush to go. Both straight on into the action. And get another little knockback. And the Guardian clips Riffer right at the tail end of it. And the arm goes down on the left hand side. And that will be a free rush for you, Junior. 350 damage. Riffer goes past the halfway mark. Wakes up into a grab. They're already on the cusp of critical. Victor, they're into critical. Junior is just a couple of hits away. They're out. Oh my god, it's a perfect. Oh my god. It's a perfect. Riffer is out. Riffer didn't make finals. Riffer did not make grand finals. Do not scratch your eyes. You are seriously seeing that? A perfect in the last match of the Underground Final means that it is Junior who makes it to Grand Finals. That I am I'm speechless. I am absolutely speechless. I did not think that that was a possibility, having been 2-0 down. Wow. Oh my gosh. It means that the grand final is Junior versus Iceman. Junior has only won this competition once. The last time they did that was the 46th installment. They have never made it into top 3 since then, let alone to the finals. So this is everything right now. Junior on the left hand side of your screen coming in with Kid Cobra. Iceman on the right hand side of your screen coming in with Ribbon Girl. It is Ram Ram Guardian versus Nade and the hottest of slaps. And away we go. And Iceman starts off with a pretty nasty shock, and Junior must be riding high on a whole plethora of things right now as the match gets underway. And it quickly walls out Ribbon Girl with another, make that 2 Ram Ram hits in a row, nice and toasty for you. Immediately floors her, nothing Ribbon can do about it in that kind of position, and this is why it's crucial to try and slow down Junior as much as possible. You cannot allow them to get carried away, and another good read with the grab keeps Iceman under a ton of pressure. And you feel like it's only a matter of time before either of them pops with the rush. Iceman will go first. Junior quickly doubles on back to minimize damage taken, and the trampoline is already out. Arm weak on the right hand side, and it won't matter anyway because the crab again comes in from Junior, who is not afraid to go for it, and that is a rush, and that is a KO, and Junior, goodness me, Junior is on another level at this point. They are on fire as they come back in with the Ram and the Guardian, and another grab. Another grab. Junior is being so grab happy. That's another one. Iceman's health almost immediately halved. It's just relentless pressure from Junior. Finally, Iceman gets some kind of say into this, gets a grab of their own to try and slow down what Junior is bringing to the table. It's just all guns blazing, just left, right, and center between these two. No slowing down, no time for a breather, and finally Iceman gets some kind of say into this matchup, but gets caught again by the toastiness of that ramp. But not afraid to come back with one of their own. And it's crucial that they try to get those slaps charged up as quickly as possible. Junior on the cusp of critical, make that into critical with Iceman just underneath the halfway mark. Junior again, just seeing if they can bait out any kind of response from Iceman in regards to that rush, but gets a shock hit, and that is gonna be a rush. Is that a KO? I think that is a KO. Iceman let their guard down for just a moment, and Junior punishes immediately. It's 1-0. For those of you who don't know how the grand final works, Iceman just needs to win one set and they're the champion. Junior needs to beat Iceman in 2 back-to-back sets. So whilst the pressure is very much on Junior, Iceman does not want to see a second set come out here because Junior is lighting up the scoreboards right now. They see their names, they see history in the making. But they have got their work cut out as Iceman is going to keep them guessing every single time. We go from Ribbon Girl to Springtron. We go from Mausoleum to DNA Labs, where Junior very famously just recently perfected the revolutionary Riffer. and is immediately going to get chilled by the chiller of Tron and gets a hit from the bolt that leads to a grab, and Iceman immediately starting off as they mean to go on. And again, you forget how nimble Springtron can be, but does get flawed by the Ram. They do have that EMP ability, which not only disables arms if they are in the process of coming towards them, but also allows Iceman to just start traveling that little bit faster, makes it that a little bit more intimidating. You never want to allow Springtron to get ahead of steam, especially with that EMP. Which is why it's crucial that Junior tries to keep Iceman under control, tries to keep that distance as close as possible. Every single time you see Iceman bring Springtron to a halt, you just sense an EMP coming. The EMP is up, and the grab will come as well. 150 damage sent through the tube. And Iceman has barely taken any damage in this matchup so far. They are in complete control here. And as the EMP does finally wear off, they just look for one more hit. One more hit is all they need, but the Guardian does get a little bit of a sting in its tail, but the amount of damage that Junior has to do to try and catch up here with 20 seconds, it's just not going to happen. And the punch from Iceman does finally find a way through and takes that initial point away. As the match starts up again, that's going to be a free rush for Iceman. The EMP catches out one of the arms, it disabled it immediately, gave them the chance to reactivate it again, and just immediately starts to shine a light on Junior. Half the health immediately. And it looks like this could be a very tall order. That's another successful EMP from Iceman. And they are on a roll now. It's a little tiny punch, gets the 30 damage. Iceman cannot get the perfect. Junior will not allow them to do so, but look at how devastatingly in control Iceman is here with this Springtron, and that is a grab. That would have been a perfect had that 30 hit not came through, but still, that is a dominant display from Iceman, who is determined to win their 13th cup. But can they keep this going now, knowing full well that Junior will know what they're going to come out with? But again, how do you deal with the tenacity? How do you deal with the onslaught of speed that Iceman brought with that Springtron? We will soon find out. As the bands come up once again, and Junior will need to decide which stage we will be going to, and that stage is going to be Busto. It looks like we are going to go on a bit of a road trip for this set, which is always nice to see. We started at Mausoleum, we went to DNA Labs, and now we come back up to Buster Beach. I like that. We went from Dark Times to the underground to the above ground at the beach. It is going to be Cobra versus Tron yet again. The Guardian is there, but so far it has not been working out in that... Well, it certainly didn't work out in the second match. Iceman was just in complete control. Guardian Nade versus Chiller and Tribolt. And immediately Iceman jumped clean over the lot of them and just gets in a nice tasty chilled punch, but has to take a nade out in the end. Pinned into the corner, not where you want to be. Having said that, immediately EMPs the Guardian, does not allow Junior to get any kind of retaliation, and quickly knocks them right back down. And that is the danger now that Junior has to face, where if they have the Guardian up and they know that Iceman is just waiting for it to slowly come towards them, they can EMP it. Because it takes quite a while for it to come back anyway, there's a very high chance that Iceman will get the arm disabled. And almost got it again, but Junior just about got it back in time. But look at the health deficit already. Iceman already just in control. Had the EMP up. Nade finally removes some of that buffer, and the rush will come out as well. Walls them into the hot pocket. Finally gets them down past the halfway mark. And we'll see if Junior can now wall them out. Unfortunately, the first grab does not hit. The nade gets a little bit of a buffer, and you feel like Iceman's just waiting for that EMP. Gets the chill, couldn't quite get the grab, and does get the rush for the KO. I feel like the momentum of this set is finally starting to swing, and again picks out Junior before they can even go for it. They've dropped the Guardian in favor of the Burchuck now, so going to give themselves a little different ways of attacking, but again caught out by another charged up bolt straight into a grab. Iceman taking full advantage, finally gets chained down by a nice little 1-2 of Junior. And as much as Junior wants to keep Iceman in that pocket, it just doesn't seem to be happening. Although having said that, they do manage to get a rush, 345 damage, finally does half Iceman and actually gets another pick, make that 2 in a row, robs the abilities temporarily with that chill. And now starting to put Iceman under a lot of pressure themselves. Down into critical gate they go. Another explosion keeps them off guard. They just about got the nade back in before the EMP goes up. And this is always when Tron is at their most dangerous. And Iceman again just turns it up. The second that EMP activates, it's almost like it's a completely different character. What about going for another EMP? Both went for the rush at the same time. Both immediately trade out. And it is going to be the KO for Junior. In the midst of all of that, they traded blows, not once but twice. But crucially, it is Junior who gets the better of that exchange. Match number 3 coming up. What about going for the EMP early on then? But instead, gets another bolt hit, gets the stun approach. What about maybe EMP in again there as well? It does take Iceman a little bit of while to get that EMP charged up and ready to go. Again, caught out by that nade, gets the chill in. Are they thinking about going for it now? No, continues the pressure on Junior. And to be fair, it is working quite nicely. Already past the halfway mark. I'm going to get the caught with the bird trick of their own, but again, the bolts seem to be so consistent. But so too is those explosions. And Iceman caught out in the last second there. They'll have to drop that rush and do the rest of this the hard way. Although having said that, they've been fine so far. They'll shield out the rest of the rush. Both arms now weak, but again another successful charged bolt hit and the grab for good measure. And Iceman leads this grand final by 2 points to 1. Ever since switching to Sprigtron, Iceman has had this matchup under control. They dominated on DNA Labs, and whilst Junior was able to fight back on Buster, it just didn't quite go the way that they would like to. And now we're going to see a character switch up from Junior. Cobra is gone. We are going to see Twintail coming out, Roaster, Cracker, and Shakram at their disposal. We're going to see the Roaster and the Ram coming out against the Tribolt and the Boomerang. Let's see if Iceman can keep this consistency up, and the answer is yes. Another Bolt Stun into a grab, starting as they mean to finish. But again, Junior says anything you can do, I can now do just as well. The Ram does hit with the stun and follows up with the grab as well. Crucially, they're just dancing around at this point in time. I feel like Junior was trying to bait out Iceman, go for an EMP. There is the EMP, and there is the punish. Junior on hand this time to get the perfect timing with that grab. Punishes as Iceman cannot use the EMP, and Iceman will be now worrying about that timing for the rest of this matchup. Both with Rush ready to go. Junior has that Actress Aura to try and slow down things if needs be. 50 seconds on the clock. It does seem to be a stalemate at this point, although Iceman with the health lead, they know that Junior has to put in the work if they want to come back at them. And again, another hit with the Rang is going to keep them at edge. Shield up, but that might break, and Junior thought it was going to break as well. That's why you saw them immediately backtrack to try and lower that damage. And the arm unfortunately broken in the end. And now it's the other arm, the right arm, that's now weak. Slowly does fade away, but they also know one more hit from Iceman will get the KO that they are looking for. 17 seconds on the clock. Iceman on the cusp of critical, and Junior's going to go for this. Will this be the KO? It is the KO! It is the KO. Iceman went from having that in the bag to Junior just about catching Iceman off guard, and the rush does enough damage to take that point right away from them. And now Iceman finds themselves in the hot pocket areas. They will get a chill up on the Twintail, tries to put pressure on, has Rush ready to go, activates the EMP. Junior not in a position to punish it this time around, but doesn't need to because the Roaster floors them immediately. Bounces off the backboard. Thankfully for Iceman, gets away with it. Didn't activate the EMP either. Tries to go for the grab instead, but Spark Jr. just seems to be able to slow this down. Keep that health at a nice, calm level. Catches with the Ram not once, but twice. The second time of asking. goes into the grab, and suddenly Junior has turned this around. Oh, couldn't quite get the juggle. You would have absolutely loved to have seen that happen, but just not to be on that occasion. This time it's chip damage and nothing more for Iceman, and plus it gives Junior that little bit of rush charge as well, knowing full well that they are one hit away from going down, and there it is. There it is. It's 2-2 in grand finals. Junior does not know when to give up. And this set continues to deliver. Goodness me. It is 2-2 in grand finals. If Junior wins, we do it all again. If Iceman wins, then the tournament is over. It is as simple as that. We either crown Iceman's 13th cup victory, tying Yada for second place overall, or we do the entire set again, knowing full well that Junior is determined to win his second ever cup. Yes, I said that right. His second ever. He's made it to the grand final on 4 occasions before today. 3 of those were runner-ups, and only 1 of those was a victory. They are determined. They are determined to make their 5th appearance count for that win. DNA Labs is where we are going to go. Junior returns with Cobra. So Twintel got them a point, but it's not enough, and Iceman switches to Min Min. So it is Birchup Guardian versus Shakram and Ice Dragon. The Shakram on the dragon arm of Iceman, not to be the left hand side of Min Min, not to be confused with the actual dragon arm, which is the Ice Dragon. Junior gonna be relentless here day one. They're gonna want to make sure that Iceman does not get that dragon chained up in any way, shape or form, but they've got to be careful of the ram as well, because the bigger that is, the easier it will be to whip around that shield and get that stun. But the shock is gonna come up, and I don't think Junior realized it. Finally does follow up with the grab. Very fortunate they caught that in the nick of time. I thought they were going to miss out on an opportunity. Make that another grab, and suddenly Junior is turning this heat up relentlessly. This is exactly what they did in this matchup when we got to this point between Riffa, and they're doing exactly the same thing again here. Missing with the follow-up grab again. But they are keeping Iceman under check. The arm does finally go up on that Shakram, but it's immediately rinsed down by another big time grab. And Junior is determined to bring this back, but the rush is going to come out, and it is scary because it is the dragon, and it is 340 damage, clipping Junior as they go down. Rush will come out. Doesn't quite get the purchase that they were looking for. The chip damage will take Iceman into critical, but crucially Iceman just needs 1 more hit, and they will take this set away from them. It's championship point. Championship point for Iceman. Junior did everything he could there, but it just wasn't enough in the end. The consistency of that dragon and the Shakram combination just kept them at bay, and now they've got to come out with a different strategy. The nade will come out alongside the Guardian. The Guardian crucially does remain, and it is Iceman with rush available, and that is a Guardian shock, and that is a long range grab punish. The Guardian keeps that shock up for such a long time, but they sidestepped into a rush again. Oh, they get caught by another one of those rushes. They cannot afford to allow Iceman keep connecting with those. Having to quickly distance themselves a little bit to keep an eye on that Shakram. It's crucial that they don't get caught by that. It gives Iceman way too many opportunities to set up for either a 1-2 combo with the dragon, or crucially a grab. And the rush is going to come out, does stop the dragon this time round, and it is 265. It puts Iceman on the cusp of critical, but Junior isn't too far away as well. And most importantly of all, Iceman is the one with the rush ready to go. Junior is not even close, and that 1-2 combo again, what we were talking about, it sends Junior into critical. It means Junior is just 1 hit away from going down. They managed to get the nade hit in there to take Iceman into critical, and another explosion keeps Iceman off guard, but they know full well that anything will KO, but they're still in this. Junior gets Iceman down with 1 punch left respectively and lets themselves down. They dropped their shield and dashed into it. And it means that Iceman is going to win this set. They win the championship. And Iceman draws level with Yada. It's 13 cup wins for Iceman. It's joint second in the overall standings. And goodness me, nobody else is able to win anything else between those three, it seems. 16, 13, and 13 between the top three highest. Junior cannot get their second ever win. They can't force the reset. Congratulations to everyone. It's been an amazing series of matches. But Iceman proving why he is #1 in the world as it stands on the official ARMS leaderboard by winning the Challenge Cup as well in the process. Although Junior took them to the absolute distance, it will be Iceman who does register their 13th ever win. Ironically enough, it is their first win since the 42nd Cup. So 20 tournaments have been and gone since Iceman last won a cup. It just goes to show the gap between those two. Iceman was on par to set that record themselves, and then River just came and went along and went, no, absolutely not. Nobody takes this record over me. But finally, Iceman can wipe that slate clean. They finally put themselves back on winning ways. It is their 13th ever win. Commiserations to Junior. They do make it to the final four. They do make it to the final for only the 5th time in their Challenge Cup career, but unfortunately it is yet again another second place for them, and Riffa didn't make it to grand finals. That's the first time in quite a while. I'm telling you this right now. That is the first time in months that Riffa has not made it into the grand final of a Challenge Cup. He will take a 3rd place instead, which feels bizarre to say that. That is just the way this ends up going.